başarılarının ardından bu arada Quartararo ve Toprak Razgatlıoğlu tabii ki
No one inside the Valencia paddock expected what would unfold during Yamaha's first real test of its new V4 era. The atmosphere around the garage felt charged, almost electric, as if something monumental was about to surface. Engineers moved with an intensity rarely seen this early in the preseason, and rival teams kept glancing toward Yamaha's pit box with a mix of curiosity and disbelief. They had brought in a rider who many believed would struggle on day one, a rider whose style was considered too wild, too unconventional, too unpredictable for MotoGP's hypersensitive machinery. But within hours, whispers spread through the circuit. Did you see his braking? How is he doing that on his first day? This isn't normal. The expectations, the doubts, the quiet concerns, all of it was about to collide with Yamaha's most ambitious gamble in over a decade. And the rookie at the center of it all wasn't just learning the bike, he was reshaping it. Yet beneath the excitement of his first test lurked a deeper tension. Something Yamaha hadn't anticipated, something that would soon turn this promising debut into the beginning of a much larger storm. The first Valencia test of the new era began with a cautious optimism. The V4 Yamaha M1 rumbled through the pit lane, its new engine tone a startling departure from the brand's past. The shift to a V4 had been debated, resisted, and even internally questioned, but now it was real. And it was Toprak Razgatlıoğlu who would help define what that future looked like. Team manager Gino Borsoy watched every detail with a rare smile. His comments drifted through the garage, calling Toprak a chameleon, a rider capable of morphing instantly, adapting to chaos, and finding rhythm where others hesitated. It was Gino's way of saying what many were beginning to think but wouldn't dare say aloud. Yamaha might have struck gold. But beneath the surface, not everything was calm. The V4 project came with pressure from every direction, from Japan, from investors, from former champions who had carried Yamaha's legacy through eras of dominance. The cost of failure was enormous, the expectations even heavier. And as the first day came to a close, Yamaha's engineers celebrated quietly, unaware that the true test and the first signs of trouble were still ahead. Toprak's path to MotoGP had never been smooth. No polished academy, no traditional mold, no predictable journey. His childhood was filled with risk, experimentation, and a riding style shaped more by instinct than instruction. Long before he was a world champion, he was the kid who braked later than anyone, slid the front tire in ways that terrified seasoned mechanics, and pulled stoppies with a casual confidence that made crowds gasp. His first steps into the MotoGP paddock carried both admiration and skepticism. Many respected his incredible superbike success, but MotoGP wasn't just about talent. It was about mastering a machine that punished imperfection. Where superbikes tolerated aggression, the M1 V4 demanded precision. Yet, from the moment he rolled out on track, rival riders noticed something unsettling. He was calm, almost too calm. And when he returned to the pits, Yamaha staff were stunned by how detailed, how sharp, and how instinctive his feedback sounded. But his adaptation wasn't purely physical. Inside, he felt the wake of entering a world where legends were forged and forgotten in a heartbeat. Every corner carried expectations. Every lap threatened to expose his weaknesses. Every sector was a reminder that he was no longer the champion of another category. He was the newcomer fighting to belong. Still, he pressed on. Because for Toprak, limits had always existed only to be broken. Yet the MotoGP garage would soon discover that this very fearlessness could create a new set of complications Yamaha never saw coming. For years, Yamaha had been trapped by its own history. The inline-4 engine that once dominated championships had become a relic of the past. Rivals like Ducati and KTM evolved aggressively, leaning heavily into torque, aerodynamics, and electronic precision. Yamaha had tried to keep up, but each season was a reminder of their stagnation. So the V4 wasn't a simple upgrade, it was a statement of survival. Behind closed doors, internal debates grew heated. Some engineers believed the shift was overdue. Others felt it compromised Yamaha's identity. There were political divides within the Iwata headquarters, fueled by pressure from executives who demanded results while offering little room for error. And now, everything rested on a bike barely out of its infancy and a rider brand new to MotoGP. Toprak's test feedback was more revealing than anyone expected. His ability to feel micro changes in engine response, chassis flex, and braking stability stunned the engineers. Some even whispered that his sensitivity rivaled the best riders Yamaha ever had. But while the early numbers were promising, the deeper data hinted at something unusual, something that would require Yamaha to rethink more than just their motorcycle. And when the team dug further into his telemetry, shock rippled through the garage. The data was unbelievable. Brake markers set meters beyond the norms. Deceleration forces that engineers insisted were physically unreasonable for a rider who had never touched an M1 before. The front end taking loads that pushed the V4 prototype to its limits. Toprak had always been known for braking late, but this wasn't late. This was something else. Yamaha staff exchanged stunned looks as the numbers appeared. One engineer muttered, "If the bike can survive this, anything is possible." Another whispered, "No one's ridden the M1 like this before." But alongside the excitement came a nervous realization. MotoGP bikes were not built to accommodate a rider who treated braking zones like playgrounds. There were concerns about front-end stiffness, about load distribution, about the long-term strain on components that hadn't yet been fully validated. And then there was Jack Miller, aggressive, fiery, unpredictable, watching from across the garage. He joked about the stoppie war that was coming, but beneath that humor was genuine astonishment. Even he hadn't braked like this on day one. Still, for all the jaw-dropping braking brilliance, a more worrying issue was about to take center stage, something Yamaha had battled for years, and now it was the rookie who spotted it first. Toprak returned from his final run with a quiet dissatisfaction that the engineers immediately noticed. He praised the engine's delivery, the chassis feel, and the front-end stability he was pushing to extremes, but the rear grip left him uneasy. It was the same weakness that had haunted Yamaha's past machines: corner exit traction, stability under acceleration, the delicate dance between electronics and tire behavior. Toprak felt the instability instantly, and unlike some riders who adapted their style, he demanded the bike adapt to him. His camp subtly pushed for changes. Yamaha engineers responded with cautious explanations. The electronics team debated traction control thresholds. Some believed the V4 simply needed more time. Others hinted that the problem ran deeper. Fans online celebrated his pace, but those closer to the garage sensed the tension. Yamaha could not afford another season plagued by rear-end inconsistency. And they knew Toprak. Once he focused on a weakness, he would not let it go. Still, even with the grip issues simmering beneath the surface, a new challenge was forming. One that didn't come from the bike, but from inside the garage itself. Pairing two wild animals in the same cage creates either brilliance or chaos, sometimes both. Jack Miller brought fire, humor, and raw aggression to every corner. He was the kind of rider who lifted spirits and ignited energy within a team. But he also carried unpredictability, both on track and off it. Toprak, by contrast, was calculated chaos, precise in his madness, surgical in his aggression. The mechanics joked endlessly about their inevitable stoppie duel. The fans celebrated the pairing. The paddock admired the audacity of putting two late-breaking titans into the same project. But under the laughter were competing ambitions. Who would adapt faster? Who would become Yamaha's development focus? Who would shape the V4's future? Small sparks appeared in casual debriefs. A subtle defensive comment here, a quiet comparison there. The engineers tried to keep harmony, But two strong personalities cannot coexist without friction. And Yamaha's management understood that if not handled carefully, this rivalry could become a double-edged sword. Yet all of this would soon feel small compared to what Yamaha planned for the next day, a test session that other teams didn't even know was happening. When Tuesday ended and the paddock began packing up, Yamaha did something unusual. They stayed. All 4 riders, 2 test riders, a nearly full technical crew. It was not a public decision, nor was it fully explained. Whispers spread instantly. Was Yamaha hiding a development problem? Were they chasing a breakthrough? Were they desperate for more data before the winter freeze? Toprak rolled out again, accompanied by Augusto Fernandez and the analytical Andrea Dovizioso, a rider known for reading a motorcycle like a scientist reads a microscope slide. Comparing Toprak's aggressive instinct to Dovi's calm precision created intense debates inside the garage. Some engineers saw this contrast as a gift. Others feared it would complicate development, splitting the direction of the V4 too early. Rumors swirled from team to team. Rival manufacturers began to worry. Was this extra day a sign of a sudden performance leap, or was it an emergency? Only those inside Yamaha knew the truth. The data was revealing something none of them expected, and it was about to force Yamaha into a decision far sooner than planned. Late on Wednesday, after countless runs and endless adjustments, the analytical staff gathered around the central data screens. What they found stunned even the most experienced engineers.
Toprak's extreme braking style wasn't just pushing the limits, it was deforming them. The V4's front-end stiffness values showed discrepancies that could not be ignored. If Yamaha wanted Toprak to unlock his full potential, they would need to redesign significant areas of the chassis, changes that were costly, complex, and dangerously close to the season's homologation deadlines. Some insiders suggested adapting the bike to Toprak. Others argued that Yamaha couldn't shape an entire project around a single rider. The political strain grew rapidly. Japan wanted progress, Europe wanted stability, the riders wanted clarity. And in the middle of it all stood Toprak, unknowingly forcing Yamaha to confront a truth they were not prepared for. He wasn't just testing the bike, he was redefining it. And that realization sent ripples through the organization. Success carries a shadow, and as the days passed, that shadow began stretching toward Toprak. Social media exploded with comparisons. Some hailed him as MGP's next great hope. Others warned that adapting from superbikes was a mountain impossible to climb. The weight of expectation grew heavier with every headline. Inside the garage, Toprak felt it. The quiet moments between runs became longer. The pressure to justify his hype hung over every lap. Engineers sensed the strain and spoke to him with careful words, reminding him that adaptation takes time. But Toprak's biggest battle wasn't against the bike, it was against himself. He wanted perfection immediately. He wanted dominance instantly. He wanted to prove that he belonged, not next year, not later, but now. Yet MotoGP is not a realm where brilliance alone is enough. Not when you're rewriting the DNA of a motorcycle still in its infancy. And just as he began to feel the mental weight of the task, Yamaha made a decision that shocked even their closest staff. When the Valencia testing week ended, Yamaha did something bold and risky. They committed to fast-tracking an early season upgrade package months ahead of schedule. New chassis components, revised aero, updated electronics. Every department was told to prepare for a development race unlike anything Yamaha had attempted before. Unofficially, Toprak and Miller were now in a duel not just for results, but for influence. Every lap from either rider could shift the direction of Yamaha's entire project. The excitement was immense, the fear even greater. Analysts across the paddock predicted a season filled with staggering highs and turbulent setbacks. For some, Yamaha's gamble looked like the beginning of a revival. For others, it appeared to be the start of internal chaos. But for Toprak, the mission was simple. He wasn't here to follow the old Yamaha story.
He was here to write a new one. And if a single test session could ignite this much turmoil, tension, and expectation, then when the lights finally go out for round one, everything, absolutely everything, could explode.